A quiet but extremely critical power struggle is beginning in North America. Canada, which has acted under the security umbrella of the United States for years, is now preparing to reduce its military dependence by making a historical break in its defense policy. This decision is seen as the beginning of a transformation that could affect not only the relations between the two allies, but also the global defense market worth hundreds of billions of dollars. While the implementation of the new defense industry strategy, which the Canadian government has been working on for a long time, is being followed carefully in Washington, comments have begun to be made that especially the administration of United States President Donald Trump may be disturbed by this development. The new strategy announced by Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney aims to increase the country's production capacity in the field of defense and to reduce the long-standing foreign dependency. The Ottawa administration argues that military security cannot rely solely on alliances and that national production in critical defense systems has become mandatory. Carney's statement, "We cannot remain captive to the decisions of others when our security is at stake," reveals that Canada is actually undergoing a radical paradigm shift in its understanding of defense. The new Buy Canadian approach envisages giving priority to domestic companies, especially in defense procurement. For many years, a significant portion of the systems used by the Canadian military were procured from United States-based manufacturers. Most of the fighter jets, radar systems, electronic warfare infrastructure, and logistics platforms were dependent on the American defense industry. However, global crises, trade tensions, and the possibility of political pressure in recent years have directed the Ottawa administration toward a different strategy. Canada now wants to be a producing power, not just a customer, in the field of defense. The goals of the strategy are quite ambitious. It is planned to increase the share of Canadian companies in defense procurement to 70% within the next 10 years. It is aimed to increase defense exports by 50%, to grow research and development investments by 85%, and to raise the revenues of small and medium-sized defense firms to the level of billions of dollars. According to the government's projections, it may be possible to bring investments exceeding $500 billion in total to the country's economy by the year 2035. An economic transformation of this magnitude could change not only Canada's defense policy, but also its industrial structure. The most sensitive point of this move for Washington is its economic dimension. The United States has long viewed allied countries as natural customers of its own defense industry. During the Trump administration, aggressive trade and security policies were implemented, particularly to increase the market share of American arms manufacturers in the global market. Canada's new approach means that military tenders worth billions of dollars could shift outside of the United States. According to analysts, Canada's turn toward domestic production, even in specific defense projects, could create a potential revenue loss of between $80 and $120 billion for American defense companies over the next decade. From Canada's perspective, the picture is seen as an economic opportunity. It is calculated that a large part of defense spending will remain within the country as domestic production increases. This situation could create an additional economic circulation of approximately $15 to $20 billion every year. Furthermore, it is evaluated that the Canadian defense sector could reach an additional revenue potential approaching $250 billion in total by 2035 through new export agreements. Creating tens of thousands of new jobs with the increase in high-technology production is also one of the important goals of the plan. The Ottawa administration is not only pursuing economic gain. The new strategy also signals a change in foreign policy orientation. Canada plans to establish closer relations with European countries and partners in the Indo-Pacific region to diversify defense cooperation. Technology sharing and joint production projects with Japan, South Korea, and some European defense consortiums have come onto the agenda. This approach is interpreted as a reflection of the strategic autonomy understanding, which is growing stronger within NATO in North America.